Hello and welcome back, YouTubers. As you know, I've gone down a rabbit hole. Well, you may not know, but I've gone down a rabbit hole and it's abstract watercolor. Well, it's abstract florals. I shouldn't say watercolor because you know what? I'm down this rabbit hole and it's abstract florals, and this is the third painting I've done in this series, and this time it's in watercolor. The first one I did in gouache, and the second one I did in gouache and watercolor, and this is the third one, and I'm doing it in watercolor. So, the first one I kind of just did off the top of my head, and the second and third one, including this one here, I've sort of got something I'm going for. And so, right here, what I'm doing is I'm just going through and developing my composition. Kind of what I have in mind was that I wanted to have a stargazer lily and a red rose and some peachy dahlias in there. And I want a glass vase so you can see the stems through the water, but also I want it to have a pink bow on it. You know, have a vision in my mind, and I'm ever trying to make it happen. So right here, what I'm trying to do is starting out with the center as blocking in some colors, you know, but I wanted to get the center of that stargazer lily in, and what I should have done was got my stamens in, really dedicated some time and space to that center, and then covered it in masking fluid so that it would have been nice and crisp. But I didn't do that, of course, right? It's abstract, so it's okay. So what I'm finding about, you know, I painted it in acrylic for a long time, and watercolor I guess I'm going on 2 years now, and I just find it so challenging and exciting because, one, it's got a mind of its own, and it really kind of suits my style in that it does what it wants, baby. So that's exciting. But I find that it's also frustrating as well at times. Like, I'm very frustrated in this painting. You can't see it here, but later on you'll be able to see. So the colors I'm using, let's start there. Okay, so I am using Permanent Rose by Magello, and it's Pigment Violet 19, and Cobalt Teal by Core, and that's Pigment Green 50, that's the blue. I love that cobalt teal mixed with any yellow, really, but the yellow I'm mixing it with here for the leaves is Hansa Yellow Medium, and that is Pigment Yellow 97, which is my very favorite yellow pigment. And I'm also using, in the dahlia, I'm using M Graham, only because that's the brand I currently have it in, but it's Pigment Red 209. That in Daniel Smith, I think it's Coral, Quinacridone Coral, but in M Graham it's Quinacridone Red, and it's just the most gorgeous pigment, right? So in the Stargazer Lily, I think I was using Magello Rubine, which is a combination of pigments, including 122, I think it's PR122, PV19, and maybe PR179. I don't know. I'd have to look that up. But it's Rubine by Magello. And I think that's it. Oh, and I think I'm using also Burnt Umber by Magello in the center of the dahlia. And other than that, oh, and the bright violet later on you'll see. And then those are the colors. That's just what I'm using. So I just, you know, was going for it. It kind of looks really pretty right here, but at the time, you know, I feel like as I'm painting this, I'm thinking to myself, man, it is missing something. What is it missing? What is it missing? I need more contrast. I need more excitement. What's going on? And I keep thinking that, like, I'm going to add this one thing and it's going to come together and be perfect. Oh, sorry. And then I also started adding in some cobalt blue, and I do believe that that is a Schminky that I'm using there, PB35 or something. It might be Cobalt 0, but it's a cobalt blue. It's nice. You know, it looks really pretty here, right? Like, I think part of what I need to do is just start calling it done a little earlier, because as this progresses, you know, it just gets a little more overworked. Like that, the dark green right there below that rose, I'm not liking that. But, you know, it's all a learning process, and I think of it this way: I'm not going to get worse. Hopefully I'm going to get better. So right here you can see I'm trying to bring down that kind of peachy color from that dahlia up there, over there, and it's pretty exciting. I like what's going on with the leaves and that kind of ferny coming out. Then all of a sudden I thought, well, you know what, maybe what I need is a punch of that core. Cobalt teal, you know, cobalt teal is beautiful and looks lovely everywhere. So I stuck that up there by that yellow rose up on the left, and then, you know, it's just too, doesn't really go. And this is where I really just started losing it. You know, it's just starting to be overworked and not as pretty or as watercolory, or and here's towards the end. Yeah, for some reason I'm thinking if I put purple in there, that's what it needs. I'll throw some purple in there. So I added some bright violet by Magello, and you know, it wasn't a good thing. I should have stopped this painting 10 minutes ago. So I've sped this footage up 8 times, so I think this whole entire video is under 7 minutes, I think. But at this point, I think it actually took me about an hour and a half. And what you don't see is that I was actually using the hairdryer in between drying stages. So at the end, I wasn't crazy about it, and I ended up going over it with black ink, because that makes everything better. Hey, thanks for watching my video. Please support my art by liking and subscribing and following me on social media. It doesn't cost you anything, and it means a lot in the internet world. I am completing a series of abstract florals, and these will be listed on my new website, yay, which I hope to have up by next week, and they'll be for sale. Thank you for watching my video, and see you next